Hey guys, we're at the new podcast studio over in Newton, and we're here actually presenting our newest episode of Outside the Fox, and we're at the new podcast studio here up in Newton, right beside the State Cinema. So, going with the Jackson Creative, just got a hold of it. So, hoping to see some really cool indie films. If you guys haven't checked it out, they're working on renovating and bringing the theater up to 2025 standards, and we're excited to see what
Definitely
happens.
excited.
So, we're in your guys' corner. We're very excited.
Yes.
So, and anyways, we're going to segment from there. Do you want to go first or me?
I think you want to get the big one out of the way.
I thought we both, because Valve, we were talking about like the
Yeah.
Steam announcements. That's the most exciting thing. I could probably spend the whole podcast
Probably, yeah.
just about talking
There's
about.
a lot of information that came out. Surprisingly, like normally it's just like, oh, like the other, big three or whatever. They're just like, oh, here's a video, enjoy, and like that's all you get for months on end. Nintendo did that, Microsoft, Sony, when they have their introductory thing. It's not years, but like months later, they do like E3 and all this other stuff, and it's when you get information. Valve led a bunch of influencers, and they put out videos and stuff. So there's been a ton of information. What do you think about it?
Amazing, awesome. I agree. I didn't see competition for Nintendo because they don't do anything with PC. They don't put nothing on there. Nintendo runs, again, I say this 100 times, in their own lane. Sony a little bit. Again, Sony understands the console game more, like home console game. They're putting stuff on PC, so it's like whatever. Xbox, Microsoft, that was where I was like, yeah, this is head to head.
Yep.
These guys are about to duke it out, because you've got Microsoft kind of going towards this direction of being PC based. What's the newest one? I can't remember the exact name.
Xbox or the Xbox ROG Ally X.
Okay, I thought I was just didn't want to throw that out there and be like,
Xbox naming schemes.
But basically that was where I was sitting in there talking about it running Windows in the background, and definitely when I was like, yeah, this is head to head. I don't know if you've got this information. I was just I like to circle up before we go back to these podcasts.
Oh yeah,
throw in some of the topics and just make sure nothing new has came up. Price. I actually saw rumors. I don't know if you have that information or not yet, but I was reading that the cost is a rumored $428 to Valve Steam. If they want to turn the pressure up on the Xbox, they could do it for $450, being lower. And this is what's crazy. People were talking about. People were debating it being $600 to $800 because price was the only thing they didn't announce.
Yeah,
they were saying they could really turn the heat up if a basically PC high end console. $450 compared to Xbox, is it $600-700 right now?
Yeah.
It could really turn the heat up on them if they decided to go on the low end. They said that more likely they'd probably do $600 based on obviously wanting to make a profit. And maybe $550, but even at $500, still making $75.
Yeah, even at $500, that's a really good thing. What I have heard, what Valve had put out, they put out a statement hey, this will be priced like a PC. They didn't say it's going to be priced like a console or competitively. They said this is going to be priced as a PC.
Okay.
And so that leads to me that it's going to be a little higher than average, maybe PlayStation Pro territory. That's kind of what I was thinking. And then somebody had made a good point because they also announced a new VR headset, the frame, Steam frame, and a new controller. And then people were thinking, this is just an Oculus Quest with Valve's logo on it. And then somebody made a really huge post talking about Meta sells a $700 headset for $499 because they have subsidies. So they can afford to do that. Valve doesn't have any skin in the game with any subsidies or anything that I know of. They could be there right now or negotiating with partners or something, but so people are speculating that even the VR headset alone is going to be $700 to $1,000 because they don't have room to just lose money like that. So I don't know. I don't know what the price could be, but if it is priced as far as the consoles go, Microsoft is done.
Yeah, I don't know how they compete against that if they bring the Steam library over. If they, I guess there was the past of 10 years ago, and this is where you probably have more familiarity with Steam's previous attempt of having
Steam machine,
Steam machine, having that at home, and just kind of that being a flop. I don't know the reasons about researching it more heavily, but I really just see this as being a console makers have been making consoles for a long time, and kind of making sure those are living room kind of devices, not really like your computers or desktops. And now that they're kind of moving closer to that territory, and then Steam and Valve is moving more closer towards the console market. I mean, it's kind of emerging of the two, really. You see, and I think it's going to be real competitive. I mean, could us be talking about the big four in a year if things go well, they launch. I mean, Steam Deck alone has already been a really good,
super popular.
I think that gave them a lot of confidence. I'm glad they didn't try to Actually, I'm more glad that they did that first.
Yeah.
I feel like there was less risk in that one, and then getting this one right, because this is really hey, I think they piggybacked. It felt like a little off the Switch's success.
Yeah.
Of having hey, you can take this on the go, and it wasn't so demanding of their hardware and stuff. So
yeah,
but it still ran. Elden Ring, I remember being one of the releases.
Yeah, and they had a huge focus on Steam Deck ready stuff, and they have a list that they curate. It's not just, hey, you guys test this out for us or whatever. They are constantly testing and getting feedback, and they're a big part of the community. I think that's one of the best parts of Steam and Valve in general is they're huge community first company, and that really goes a long way into hey, have faith in our products and all that. And the Steam machines from before, going back to that, is the reason it failed. They went the 3DO approach. They said, hey, you can put our logo on your box, and then just let a bunch of companies like Asus or whatever put out their own Steam machines. And so there were a lot of Steam machines on the market that had different specs and different aesthetics, and a lot of them looked very different from each other, so people were very confused. But one of the good things, and I hope that they do it with the Steam machine, is that they put it out in retail spaces.
That'd be amazing.
I remember going to Walmart and seeing Steam machines available, where the Xbox and PlayStation consoles were sitting in the glass case. So if they can go back to that, I think it'll be a massive hit, because people are like, what is this? What's going on?
Well, you got a lot of negative press around Xbox. You've got a lot of shifting changes. I think this is setting it up from what we've had this whole year of an impact on Xbox. So we're talking about Xbox being minimized. Walmart and Target came out and said or I think it was Xbox even that came out and said, hey, they're still going to carry us. But I can see them shrinking it and almost giving away some of that territory, that real estate, over to Valve if they can prove they can demand and have the demand at their stores.
Yeah, because Costco completely cut them off. They said, yeah, we're done with Xbox and retail, which is understandable. But people were saying on Reddit, Target and Walmart are going to refuse to carry, but Xbox or Microsoft said, no, we're still going to have stuff in our stores. Don't worry about it. And that leads me to the other topic that I had is Xbox confusing messaging and price hikes. Mm-hmm. That's been really weird, because you have, making machines and hardware is not our future, but then they're like, oh no, but it's Sarah Bond's coming out saying no, we're still going to be in the game, we're still doing hardware, and everything just seems like it's up in the air. Microsoft has had so many opportunities. They had games for Windows because that was their first big foray into hey, we're going to bring our Xbox games to the PC market. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful for that, because they've done a lot of the work that went into having compatibility and emulation, Xbox 360 stuff, and backwards compatibility and all that good stuff. That stemmed from games for Windows. They did it very poorly, and they're still doing it very poorly as far as having Xbox games on PC, but at least that led the way to that. But it's how can you not get this right? This was in the 360 era, and you're still don't have a grasp on it. This is your backyard. This is your house. How do you?
Yeah.
And the only downside to the Steam machine that I can see is that it's Linux based, and so none of the anti-cheat stuff can run on Linux. They won't let it. So you can't play Destiny 2 and I don't know if Fortnite has the right anti-cheat or anything like that.
Right.
That's why it's not on Steam.
Yep.
So there's a handful of games, big games, that you would not be able to play on here unless they work something out or they get some sort of layer going.
So and Steam itself is kind of the marketplace more than anything. I feel like if they get some marketplace exclusives made by Valve, put out Half-Life 3, Portal 3, and they say, you know what? Either whether it's timed exclusives, maybe they'll release them out to other people, or just make it straight up exclusive. Sorry, you have to have, and maybe not just obviously their hardware, but just a PC in general.
Yep.
Obviously, I think I could see people doing it similar to a console where it's I want to play these games. And there are a lot of games on Steam that are kind of exclusive, games that I can think of, more indies and stuff that sometimes they forego and they just say, we're going straight to PC.
Yep.
from the moment. So hoping with the price points. I mean, that's with tariffs and everything else. That is kind of a really difficult job.
Yeah.
And that's always hard to navigate, especially if they continue to be ongoing. I know the Supreme Court is looking at those, so I think
changing day to day almost.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them some of them got struck down on the food, and the only reason I bring that up is because it has made things different for the marketplace and whatnot. So, and that can change things a little bit. Companies' outlooks for 2026, and at the beginning of this year, obviously they just got started like mid-year ish, so we're seeing the impact of those 6 to 10 months later of like console hikes and Funko. Talking about some of what's going on with them. So that was another one we were going to talk about because we carry Funko, have had it for years. Still is the top 5 seller for the store. Like people asking, I'm like, really? They're always like surprised. I mean, there's that Beanie Baby references that people make. They try to make those all the time. They love to do it. They're like, it's Beanie. I'm like, listen, Beanie Babies. I don't know exactly how long, but it was a very short-lived period.
It was literally, I think, like a year and a half.
Yeah, I was like, Funko has been going on and has gotten over $1 billion. I mean, like, I think in a single year. I don't know if they still do, but I was like, these guys are still, mammoths. Like they're like they're almost. I wouldn't call them a Hasbro, but or a Mattel, but they're pretty large.
Yeah, they are significant. Massive. The amount of IPs they've gotten into is insane.
Yeah, for toy makers. So I think it's definitely got different kind of legs. But they said a couple of the reasons that they said. So the big thing came out was that they apparently this is why, because I was wondering why they would say this, because usually it kind of makes people panic or not believe in the brand, but they had to do an SEC filing. So they had to reveal it. They had to for like their stocks. So basically, if they don't get some money in the next year, they're gone. They're broke. Ooh. So, but they gave some reasons. Like part of what I saw was big thing was most of their production. I've seen this too. Comes from Vietnam. Tariffs have been 20%. So on whatever their margins are, it's an additional 20% added on to that. They were profitable as of a year ago, for $5.5 million profit. At the end of that quarter. But they had debt of $190 million. They're at the 200, and I believe it's $41 million right now. So they've gone up $50-60 million. They're basically like, unless we can get it reworked or an additional loan or just anything. And they said they have some strategies. One of the things they touted was like, no one else is going to have K-pop Demon Hunter merch out before this holiday season.
Oh yeah,
they're like one of the only that's going to have it on the shelves, ready to go for this hype. We are able to quickly move a lot faster than a lot of other companies. When we see a trend and one that's big, we jump onto it.
Yeah.
So personally, I think they've got a lot of momentum still.
Oh yeah.
I think it's going to be difficult though. They do need to revitalize it, but that's hard because they've been going for so long. People get tired of anything. There's always
of course.
There's always ebbs and flows, and unless you're just doing really good money wise and you overstretch yourselves, that's probably.
What do you think they should do as far as like maybe trying something new or switching things up?
Well, and I read one of the things was they even admitted overproduction. And I would say that would be my number one thing is like, because we see this with the store now, like we do really well, but we curate, we don't just take every pop. We don't, my rule is like, don't take failed franchises, flopped movies, like Batman vs. Superman is not it's not a great movie. It's not I don't consider it like a 0%, but like pops like that, or like Overwatch did do good, but like it's just too many. And then like Star Wars, I really love Star Wars,
God.
But they make a character a pop of every single side character.
Yep,
it could be like a dude who popped up in Katina bar, and they're like, he was in a shot. Let's do a pop of that. And I'm like,
and there's multiple variations of every character. It's just, dude, the amount of like Grogu pops that came out was absolutely insane. I couldn't believe it. They just kept coming in. I'm like, I didn't even see this one. I've been like, what?
I think, unfortunately, it's just, I'd say it's a glut, and they need to. You're seeing this with a lot of companies this last year. I guess things have gotten not only just expensive for consumers, but for businesses.
Absolutely.
And everyone is starting to dial back, like on the workforce, like 10 to 20%, and replace it with AI, like improvements if they can. And I would assume that they'll probably be no different than anyone else, and probably put in like a little bit of AI help. And if they could cut back their workforce 10%, 15%, and have AI do some of the work behind that, then I could see that being a big help for them, and just cut back their bottom line and just cut back on like instead of 10 Grogus, maybe 5, or maybe the numbers. You just
maybe 2.
It'd be better to sell a lot of the 5 than like I don't know, just have like ones. It's just it's too many.
Yeah,
it's too much.
Yeah, I mean it having a lot of this like variations of a character helps like with collectors, or if you have a super popular character, which Grogu was, but is no longer. I don't hear anybody like, oh my god, Grogu, and wearing the shirts and stuff like that. Like, it seems like they don't know when to just like, all right, like cereal mascots. Like, I get it, but like every cereal, Twinkies, like that's kind of wild. No Killer Instinct pops at all. Still mad about
It's always print runs for me. I think it's one of those things where I'm just throwing out numbers. These are just wild numbers. Like, like if they're making 20,000 of Captain Crunch, maybe 10, maybe 12. I think there's demand for probably anything. I've seen that with a lot of different ones.
Yeah.
But how high of demand? How crazy? How big print runs? And I mean, they have the data. They've been doing this long enough. They should have enough data to go off of from their numbers of 10s plus years. Well, they've been in business 30.
Yeah.
But the Funko line, I think, it started in 2009, 2010. They should, at this point, with all the IPs, all the information they have, okay, well, we made 100,000 of these, and it did not do very well. We made 30,000, and really we should have made 40 or 50. I don't know. Like, I'm just saying they should have enough data to hopefully be able to navigate that.
I think I would hate to be the person who's in charge of logistics, because not only do they have so many variations of characters and so many different characters and franchises, you also have like convention exclusive pops and releases and D23, and like that is mind blowing how anybody even keeps track of that.
And there's also a common thread between here and another topic we have. So their ex-CEO was Cynthia Williams. They just got rid of her. And I was really glad when she left, because the last CEO she was over Magic and Hasbro.
Oh, no.
And it said Hasbro in the article I read, but I thought, as far as I was aware, she was more in charge of Magic.
Yeah.
The decisions she was making when Magic was in place just weren't great. And I felt like I could see some of the sets and stuff and things, and I was just like, eh. Whereas like the new guy, I can't remember. I think his name's Chris Cox.
Yeah.
And I love where he's taken the brand. And that's the example. Like everybody, and when she left and she was going to Funko, everyone had a collective sigh of like, "Oh, thank God we got rid of this CEO," because it just felt like she just. I don't think she was responsible for the Amazon dumps on Magic and COVID and other. I don't think she. I don't remember. I don't exactly know her tenure and the decision 100%, but I just know in general, it just wasn't that great, even from what I can remember. And it doesn't show. As soon as I read, I was like, I forgot. And when I read this about Funko went broke, and then who was just recently CEO, and I was just like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
A lot of sense, because I think she was a Marlboro CEO.
Yeah,
and she left there, and she did great there with cigarettes, but she just has not done well for other stuff. So I'm assuming.
How do you ruin cigarettes anyway?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But that was where I'd seen that, and just loosely speaking of Magic, because I didn't put too much on here for this week. Yeah. Avatar's coming out.
Yep.
Very exciting. I think we talked about this last time already, but they, just excited. They're doing, but they have more Universes Beyond sets than Magic sets. People, a little upset about that, but I'm just personally excited for the Hobbits coming out next year.
Yeah.
The Marvel superhero set, actually pretty excited to keep going with the Spider-Man. I know Spider-Man wasn't really well received, but it also was supposed to be a small set, and then they they announced Universes Beyond was going to be standard, so they had to like expand it, and just it felt a little rushed. And I think Spider-Man could have done better if it had some more time to cook. But hopefully, Marvel Superheroes doesn't fall into that same area, and it does great. So
yeah, I know people were upset about like comic book, colorful stuff. I think personally, like I'm not really into Magic, but monster type franchises would be great. Like imagine like Universal Monsters or something.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That's like dark kind of sci-fi stuff. I know it's mostly like fantasy, but you can easily go into fantasy and dark fantasy and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing. Imagine Nintendo would never do it, but like Dark Link, like as a Magic card, that'd be insane. That'd be awesome.
I could almost see it in the future if possible. I mean, they just did like for Secret like Jaws and Furbies, because Hasbro
that's weird. And
then like TMNT's gonna be kind of those ones where I think I like it. I don't know if it fits. A lot of people have talked about that. Like going to New York City takes away from the high fantasy realm, and we have been to New York twice in 6 months. They were talking about Spider-Man and TMNT, and I was like, yeah, that's a little.
I mean, if you did, people still have a stigma about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, the movie, the official movie, but I mean, samurai turtles. That can kind of that's somewhat like fantasy. I could see that fitting, but like, hey man, Michelangelo and pizza, that's gonna be weird.
The pizza lands are cool. They actually all of them are like all of them have like the cheese pull. They definitely.
Oh my god,
which is absolutely amazing. But
that's dope.
Yeah, I was excited for that, and we had our Phantasmal Flames release.
Oh right, yeah.
I did have a little bit of Pokemon.
Oh
news.
yeah.
From a distributor, I got to hear basically that be careful with what you order. That a friend, that an uncle who works at but they say like they said, hey, we got contacts, and they said like with the printing companies. And the guy who works there said that Pokemon's going from 2 printers in the country to 4.
Oh, okay.
So I would almost guess end of Q1, Q2, you're going to start seeing Pokemon that the problems they've had this last year, kind of similar to what they did in 23 when they like crushed it finally because they just ton of production. You know what I mean? They just like, all right, screw it, no more. We're not playing around anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I just wish some of the companies would at least vet some of the people who are just like, yeah, I'm going to buy the entire shelf. Like, just how hard is it to just be like, no, dude? There's been so many more videos coming out of a guy like these didn't even hit the floor. Yeah, and it's a guy, and it's like the manager's friend allowed. It's like he gets a cut. And I'm like, dude.
So I'll ask you this: who do you think is more responsible in this? I guess who do you think is responsible? Would you put it on Pokemon, distributors? LGSs, big box retailers, like I'm assuming every part of the problem lies.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody's got their hand in the cookie jar at some point, or as part of the problem. Or
scalpers.
Goes.
Sorry, is the last one.
Yeah, but it's the big box stores because they're literally just allowing people to just go absolutely crazy. One guy can grab an entire cart, or even the vending machines, which were supposed to curb some of all that stuff. Guys are literally just standing there, just buying out the whole thing, and nobody's stopping them. I think that would go very far into preventing people from doing this.
I don't think Walmart, Target, any of them are like pressed about. I mean, they
don't care. They're selling them.
Publicly, I think they are. If you ask the guy, he'd be like, yeah, it's a real problem. But in private, I agree that it's probably like, well, it's the same amount of money. In fact, it's actually less work on our people because one guy just took it all. We don't have to worry about like, oh, where'd it go or this and that. It's like, all right, it's done.
Yeah, no chaos.
Clear the shelves and add more product. Take the money and put it in One Piece or add some Yu-Gi-Oh! Whatever is like available. And they're just like, hey, well, what can we get in between this and Pokemon release and just stock the shelves with something.
Yeah.
Just to have something. But
yeah, there's no incentive for them to give a shit, really. Well, it's just like, we're selling it. Who cares?
And the problem I'd heard was Pokemon wanted to forego distributors and LGSs because big box sells at MSRP, and they were like, well, at least these guys are circumventing the market, or they're circumventing the market there to like big box because they're like, hey, well, at least. But the problem is like, see, that's the problem is like they will sell at MSRP suggested prices, but they don't help curb. Like you said, like it doesn't matter because unless the big box stores is literally willing to manage that, it does. I agree with you. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at your prices. In fact, all you've done is just set up an example where you've incentivized the scalper. And I get it. It's a hard thing to do because like really just comes down to the fact that something's worth money. People see that, and it's going to. I mean, because that's the problem. Is like with you, it's Pokemon. I mean, and they're kind of doing the right thing by getting more printers.
Yeah.
The problem is, though, they'll probably crush demand, then everyone will back off, then no one will give a crap, and then it'll be years.
As soon as you said that, I was like, that's going to be the issue. Is there's going to be plenty enough for everybody, so there's not going to be a big rush, so everybody's going to take their time buying sets now.
Yeah, which will probably, most people argue.
Yeah, that's great, especially for people who are tournament players, but for collectors, it'll kill them, which, But.
Yeah, exactly. And at this point, investors and other things, and distributors, they're, we have to deal with that all the time where it's like, so that's the problem with LGS is like compared to big box stores, a lot of times they'd be like, well, if you buy this bundle from us, then you can get it. Or if you buy this amount or you do this certain, it's a lot of like things in the background you got to do in order. And then obviously there are hundreds of applications. They've got more applications than they ever did during COVID, they've said.
Yeah.
So, that's the other problem is like they're getting flooded, so they can't add new accounts. I don't know. So it's kind of hard. It's a really tough thing. And then like LGSs already have to pay more. And then like if you do the same thing as like Walmart and you don't sell, if you sell at MSRP, you're gonna have your whole lines of your scalpers. If you do flat market, you're kind of just going off the trend. So I think like an in between like we've done is about right on because like
yeah,
you want to like throw off scalpers, but then like have fans who are like, well, at least this is 60, 70, 50, I don't know, whatever, lower than the going price, so I'm still paying better. You're still helping them, but it's like it's a really tough thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a little complicated. You know what I mean? It seems easy. You know what I mean? Like I said, it was like, the big box stores, but, you know, there's so many things going on.
And then you just got scalpers. I mean, it's just, even if everybody in the equation, distributors, stores, and then here's the problem is like, for a business, do you want to leave money on the table so that some guy in a basement's buying like all your stock?
Yeah.
And then like, I mean, that's everybody. I mean, every person in the pie is probably thinking that. Like, they're like, well, it's going for this. Do I want to give it all up to this one guy who's just going to buy it from me and do that? Or like, do I want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing will be this. It happens, I think, every time I've learned more is a lot of stores will pop up. A lot of stores will fail. A lot of stores who hang on and continue to get allocation will continue their allocation numbers. If they can hold on and keep the cash flow and liquidity, then when things go up, it's like, whoop,
yeah.
And they're like, hey, well, now I can get 100 boxes of this thing that's selling off the charts.
Let's go.
So, I don't know. It's just kind of a hard thing to do, but.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's strange. It is all like cardboard. Cardboard stuff for kids.
It's huge. Well, and again, there's a lot of investment. Like, every game's now got, like, you know, Magic's gotten more into the collector space. They've got the Soul Stone for Spider-Man. $32,000 last. I haven't looked recently, but that was, like, people were talking about the collector boxes are $450, which, you know, Final Fantasy, for example, was hitting the highs of $1,200 and such. And, like, you know, you had the golden chocobo in those. So, like, you had, like, the chocobos and the gold chocobos, like, they're serialized, like, 77. And they had sold, I think, 25. You know what I mean?
Damn.
They're getting to the point where there's such a silly card in each set that it's I think, you know, it's driving up prices because it's like, holy crap. And it's an investment thing where it's like, I agree with I saw a post this morning that was like, can we get back to when, you know, you'd open a box and you weren't worried about the EV, like the economic value of the box. And like, you know, you're like, oh, I spent 100 and I got 100 back. It's more like, I spent 100, but I got like these amazing cards and like goblins, or I got my favorite Pokemon or One Piece characters, or he's like, I miss, you know, when we weren't so worried, like, hey, I spent 100, I just made 500.
Yeah, the return.
Yeah, I don't have a return. It's like we've all like monetized our hobby to where now it's just no longer
big
fun.
Time, yeah.
PSA and grading and I'm at cons. Oh, I can get 80. You know what I mean? It's all again. It goes. There's not really one person to blame because there's just like a chain of people that.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. I think it's everybody who comes in and they want their own, you know, piece of the pie, and so I think the grading market is. I mean, I saw people grade consoles like like what. That's insane. Like, that's such a weird speculative. I get it because it's valuable, especially if it's older retro stuff like box matters. Even Wii U now, the box adds an extra $30 to the price, which is insane.
Crazy.
Yeah, but like that's crazy that somebody just out of nowhere is like, oh yeah, let's grade this. Like it's from baseball cards to like consoles, and everybody's got a part of it. You know what I mean?
And that's the problem. We don't really see yard sales when you got anymore. You don't really see like the random flea market guy who's like, hey, I just have some crap in my house and $2, it's worth like 50. They don't know. It's like everybody. We've gotten to the point where we've monetized everything we cared about, and you know, it's like, oh, I don't want to give that away. It's what, you know,
this has been in the closet for 20 years. Let's see on eBay how much it's going for.
Yeah, and very rarely. I'm not saying nobody doesn't get a good deal, but they're getting harder to find. You know, everyone's
Definitely
more
harder.
and more like. I think it also speaks to the affordability crisis. I think like people just being like, hey, well, what I got around the house is worth something. You know what I mean? And like they're like. I mean, we get people all the time like, I need gas, I need food, I need it. You know, you just feel bad. It's a bad all around.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but not to harp too much on that. But I did see on both ours, you know, GTA 6 delay, big thing. You have a little bit more, it looks like, to talk about with it. But I made on the website, I made a whole article that was basically like, hey, it's short, but like delays are good. I like delays.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I'm a huge fan of them because I'd rather have. I mean, and I made two good cases of when a delay would happen. It's like rare situations where Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky, and they got fixed.
Yep.
But not every game gets that, and there's a lot of turds out there.
Yeah. Plus, it sucks when you're excited for a game, especially if it's super. GTA 6 is probably the most anticipated game of all time. And imagine it comes out and it ends up being like Cyberpunk at launch. Like, that would be a disaster. People would still buy it and play it and all that stuff, and we'll fix it, and it'd be fine down the line, but it still sucks. I'd rather it at launch just be good to go. I don't imagine not having to worry about bugs and crashes and all that stuff when you buy a game at launch. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I can remember Assassin's Creed Unity is one of the.
Oh my God, yeah.
And there's also that longevity conversation, like if it is all pressed on the disc and it's actually there on the 2 disc, because I know it's gonna be a 2-disc game.
Oh,
could
absolutely.
be 3. I wouldn't be shocked if it's one of the first 3-disc games.
Yeah,
considering the size of like 5 and the Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I've heard it's gonna be $100 game. I mean, it's a lot of like information we don't know about it. Like, but I'm excited for it regardless. At least it's still come out in the same year. It honestly feels like when some of those releases are so big and so hyped that it honestly almost feels like it's never coming out. And then, so I'm glad at least there's a solid date.
Yep.
And as long as I think this is a second or third delay. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I think it's.
It feels like it to me.
Yeah.
I'll just say as long as there's not any more delays.
Yeah,
Not
especially
that, again,
to have a little over a year now to really get on it, and I think that going off of what's going on with Rockstar is that there were employees trying to form a union, and they were just about to form a union, and they got let go, they got fired.
Oh,
and Rockstar came out and said, like, or Take-Two, I believe, came out and said, oh, they leaked screenshots and videos and all that stuff from a private Discord, but nobody was in that Discord but employees, and it wasn't like easily accessible. It was an internal Discord only, so it's all speculation. Nobody's like, oh, this is why, but that's what people are saying is because right as they were about to unionize, all of a sudden these people were let go and now they can't.
yeah.
So now there's going to be a big battle back and forth, and I don't think it'll affect GTA 6 in the long run at all.
Sales as well either.
Yeah, like I think that's going to be an insane. That day, I think there's going to be so many people who call out. Like I'll be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if businesses say, "Hey, look,
no joke,
day off for everybody."
no joke. They've actually released. I saw a news article. It was like I think it said it was like a. I can't remember. I just feel like I'm making up a number, but it was like $33 million impact that day or something.
Yeah.
And that might seem low or high. I mean, that actually seems kind of almost low. But I did read that, like, similar to Dragon Quest coming out in Japan, where they do the same thing with a Dragon Quest game, and they're like, shut it down. Like, I would not be shocked. It'd actually be kind of cool as far as I love being a gamer. You and I both, I think. I mean, and like just watching it evolve. I love you were a nerd in middle school, or like you play games, what? And like to the point where like games have gotten so big and so popular and so overhyped and hyped in general that like you can shut down the country. I'm like,
yep,
that's awesome. Like I love it. I remember
that is really insane.
How shitty it all looked, and you're like, oh man, this Game Boy game. I even knew back in the day when I was playing some Game Boy games, I'm like, this looks like trash.
Yeah.
And I knew there wasn't a better alternative. I couldn't imagine it at that time. I mean, I guess I could imagine a good game, but I knew there wasn't a one out there.
Yeah, but I think a lot of it's like for us was like tone, and we didn't see anything like better, so we didn't really have a comparison. So a lot of stuff looked good, but you just knew like CJ's bread hands, like you just knew like
never thought about
this is bad.
At the time, you're like, wow, you can do all this. You can
my God, I can get low riders, brother. Like,
summon a 4-wheeler I used to do all the time.
Oh, or the tank.
Yeah, the possibilities. And, like, now it's like, man, you can do all that, but, like, just 4K or almost, I've heard, like, almost 8K sometimes.
Yeah. Like, you can go absolutely insane.
So, I mean, like, I'm just really excited that we've got to that point. We can shut down the country. Like, that's great.
Yeah, that's going to be, I can't wait for that. I will make a prediction. Whatever online servers they have that day, even for downloading the game itself digitally, is going to crash. It's going to be an absolute mess that first day.
Physical only. That's why it matters. So if you can't wait this one day, you can.
Yep.
But even then, copies, depending on how, I feel like that one, they better be pressing those copies for
I'm
months.
going to say that's the one where I think they definitely would be a shortage.
I think they need to press those copies months and months in advance. Because I think
that day one patch is going to be like 4 terabytes, brother.
I'm gonna need a second one.
Yeah,
I agree with that. So I know I wrote down there's an Xbox partner preview coming up. That's just to let people know, like, it's coming up. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe something fun will be in there. Maybe nothing. I saw that the PlayStation State of Play from Japan. I was like, oh boy, Final Fantasy Part 3 and some other. Everyone had some high hopes, and I looked over the list. I can't even remember almost anything on it because it was all just like Okay.
Here you go.
Yeah,
and it was like, oh, it's like Japan partners. It's like you got rid of all the good studios. You got rid of them all. They're gone. Like, what partners? What are you talking about? The only thing that was exciting was the Tokon stuff, but it's more of the same, and they added 2 new stages. Like, that was it.
Yeah, I think we saw gameplay. Was it Spider-Man and Ghost Rider?
Yeah, and then they announced another closed beta.
Which I was like, cool. That's fine.
That's all I got from it. Whatever.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of meat there. So
yeah. Well, speaking of Sony, real quick.
Yeah, please.
So Concord was shut down 2 weeks after it launched, and it's just like, all right, everything's done and over with. Some fans have actually made like private servers so people can play Concord again. Like, that's insane. Like, oh, nobody wants this game, but people put in effort, and then Sony sent them a cease and desist. You're not allowed to play Concord. Sorry. The universally hated game, people actually want to play it? No. Sorry, can't happen, buddy.
That sucks, man.
That's insane.
I feel like I would have felt like all the millions you spent and people did that. I'd have been like, that's really cool. I'm like happy
Absolutely.
to see. I don't know what it costs to maintain a server, but like I don't know.
They didn't even ask Sony. They did it all themselves, and Sony's like, stop.
Yeah.
Quit that. Like,
I don't know. Or at least I'll give Sega some credit. Like, when it came to Sonic Mania, they actually brought on the people who'd made fan-made Sonic games. And
exactly.
Why don't you come help us? We've forgotten what it is to make a good Sonic game.
Yep.
Teach us, remind us of what that feels like. And actually, I was like, man, that's really cool. That's humble because I feel like at that point they were kind of admitting we've lost our magic a little.
Yeah.
You guys seem to remember it because you're fans, and they brought them on, and I was like, that's how you do it.
Exactly.
Bring them on. Have them come full circle and be like, help me design, and now they have some of those guys on full time.
Exactly. Chris Whitehead and everything, yeah.
Super cool. Super great way of being like, how do I take this excitement and instead of shutting it down and be like, nah.
Yeah, Sega's always been really good about fan games and fan service, as far as fans, not that kind of fan service.
Yeah.
It goes back to the hacker thing where it's like, oh, let's punish the hackers, and then somebody was like, well, these guys are really talented. They broke our amazing system. Let's hire them. I think that every company should do that. These guys, this game was toast. It was done. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
It'd been shut down for over a year now, and then they were just these guys who are just fans just wanted to play it, and you didn't get invite them to a fan event or something. Here, play it privately with us.
I don't know.
You could have relaunched it off of that momentum.
Use the excitement to be like, hey, let's take this moment. That's the whole point. Is you're missing fans. You're getting them build off of that. Yeah, I agree.
That's crazy.
But I think it's bottom line, what's going to be good now. And speaking of, Nintendo's really bad about that too. There's times where they have some of the most amazing fan-made patches games, just awesome. People are like, I made a brand new Pokemon game that reworks the entire game, and then they're like, yeah, shut that down.
Yeah.
And I saw that you were talking about
yeah, Nintendo, they tried to patent the idea of Pokemon. Their system, you summon a character and have them battle one-on-one, and they were actually denied that. And now the patent office is going back to Nintendo patents to scrutinize and see what else Nintendo has maybe patented that is just basic gameplay mechanics that you shouldn't be able to patent. So I thought that was really surprising because Nintendo's usually, their lawyers absolutely insane. They will literally go after. They went after the guy who was selling the MiG switch or creating these little things that was just almost private. And they're notorious for hey, you got to pay for the rest of your life now. You owe us $2 million. You work minimum wage? Sorry. Your life is now owed to us. And it's just very surprising to see this giant get just smidgenly humble. I'm not happy oh, yay, Nintendo's getting but we shouldn't let any company do that. Namco patented loading screen mini games. And I think that was in the late 80s to early 90s, and nobody else was allowed to do that. You were not allowed to have mini games during a loading screen during the PS2 era or Dreamcast because Namco had patented that, which is crazy. Or I forget who's the development team on it, but Middle Earth, the Nemesis system.
Oh, yep.
That could have been so cool, utilized by a lot of other different developers who actually cared about their games, or they weren't under a license. But it was patented, and then nobody was allowed to use it.
I forgot about that being a better known example. But
yeah,
I Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I always hate that kind of stuff because it's anti-consumer.
Absolutely,
it's good for the companies and all, but it's just it's kind of painful.
It limits fans on enjoying your content, your franchises. You know, Nintendo shut down. Somebody had spent years making a Samus Returns remake, essentially, and it turned out that Nintendo's working on their own. But the fact this guy spent years and was like, "Here, guys, enjoy it," Nintendo's like, "Stop that!" Like, it looked amazing.
Those are times where it's like, even if you shut it down, maybe almost like, again, to pull a Sega and be like, well, we can't have you have your own because this is our IP, but at least you can come work on the team. Feed us some of your ideas. We'll feed you. You know, we'll kind of work together and collaborate here.
Or maybe internships. I think a lot of people would appreciate that. A lot of people who are making their own little games or anything like that. Even the Mario browser where you can run the entire level, you can see it all at once. Like, that guy got shut down, and I don't know if he got sued or not, but hey, this is kind of interesting. Maybe you can help us develop a website or whatever.
I would hope that the suing is kind of, I guess it kind of is obviously to put in your mind, I'm not going to do this.
Yep.
I will get screwed if I do this. So, and I get that. That's probably, honestly, why they do it for.
Yeah.
I think pirating games, creating, the people who create that one, I wouldn't say I want them to owe their whole life. I really don't want to even just shut it down. But I guess the financial is you made us lose this amount.
Yeah.
Or what we theorize you made us lose on or something. So it's such a sticky thing. I don't want to reward theft, but I definitely think they could reward fan enthusiasm more.
Exactly, yeah.
You know?
I'm in the same boat too, especially with some of the franchises they have not touched in decades, or games that they've had just sitting around and they just don't the fact that you took off the virtual console and now you are just absolutely drip feeding the tiniest little bits of content. Well, meanwhile, fans are starving. Come on.
Where's DK64, man? Bonanza, they should have released it.
And that leaked screenshot, one of them was Diddy Kong Racing. Still hasn't showed up yet. But all the other ones have. Forsaken made it.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's weird.
I get on DK64 only because of the RAM, and I just wonder on emulation if that's really sticky for them.
Really difficult, yeah. 64 emulation is pretty tough overall, so that one's probably
That's the only one. That's the only reason I've given them a little bit of credit on Majora's Mask and that, because I'm like, okay, well, maybe that. But is Majora's Mask out? I don't know. I haven't looked.
I haven't looked at it in a while either.
I haven't gone and looked back.
I'm not a huge fan of Majora's Mask. I like the aesthetic. I just don't like the game.
I do like the aesthetic a lot. Yeah. The darkness and the
really,
weird characters.
Really good. I will give them credit, too, for Killer Instinct Gold, because, the 64 version, Killer Instinct overall, it was mainly the arcade version. So, I'm kind of off here, but the arcade versions, emulating that has been stupidly difficult, because even emulating it, you need the disc image, and the sound has never been right. It always has crackling and popping. It's so weird. So if you get the arcade machines, the arcade 1-up ones, they're perfect, but and on Xbox too. But outside of that, it's been really difficult. So I'll give them credit for that though.
Okay, all right. Well, they credit to them. Small bit of Nintendo news as always. Actually, I'll say one thing related. It's just an announcement. Game Awards are coming. Should be next month. We'll have a ton of announcements for next podcast. I'm sure content Game of the Year. This is the best. I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
Yote.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It could be. You never know. We're Bonanza. I mean.
Yeah. Either one, I'm happy with, man.
That'd be cool. I'm just excited. Really good time. Small bit of Nintendo news I had was Legend of Zelda. We saw previews of the movie. Speaking of movies, they had the Super Mario Galaxy movie direct.
Yeah.
Looked hilarious. I loved little Bowser and him painting. I don't really necessarily like Bowser Jr.'s voice. I didn't feel like it fit. It felt kind of it is a grown man doing it, but it wasn't he even tried to be more kiddish with it. It just felt like he's Papa. I don't know. It just didn't have that kitty voice that I was just But again, I'm not Nintendo. Maybe it's great. Maybe the overall film was amazing, and I'm just And I did like that they put Brie Larson, I guess, because I didn't realize how much of a Nintendo fan she was. But now knowing all that, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. That's awesome to have that kind of enthusiasm into a role for Mario. So
now, a question. Now, do you think that one Rosalina superfan, the insane guy who would buy every Rosalina amiibo in his area because he didn't want anybody to have
$40,000, yeah.
Yeah, do you think he's going to do anything? Maybe buy out theaters and not let people see the movie?
Well, I mean, my only thing about that was he was like, I bought every amiibo and I spent $40,000, and I'm like, all you did was kind of make it look like it was extremely popular.
Yep.
You probably did the opposite because, I don't know, like by the fact you bought them all, like it's kind of like if you did buy out theaters, I'm sure they'd be like, my God, we're selling out theaters left and right. Every seat in existence is
come see the #1 family movie in the country.
So it's just like I don't know, like whatever he was trying to do there, I was like, no. I decided she did seem good. The voice acting seemed good. Plot seems good. I was just like, cool. I'm pumped. I'm so excited for that one. So
the only thing that throws me off is like we went directly from like, oh, hey, Mario and Peach, hey, you guys just met. Now we're like, all right, we're already in Mario Galaxy and Odyssey, and I'm like, what happened? And a smidge of Sunshine too. Like, that's crazy getting all this at once. It makes you wonder what the next one's going to be.
And I'm sure it'll be playing at the State Cinema in Newton, North Carolina.
Let's go. Let's go.
Gotta plug it in, at least here. So, but I guess like last thing on my list, I don't know if have we got everything? Oh, actually, it's Simpsons Fortnite, but
yeah, I have a couple more things. Yeah, Simpsons Fortnite, like it's the first time Fortnite has ever done a full map like change. Like they've really like the entire map is themed. Normally, it's just like a little section on the map or whatever. And this is essentially it's still the same map, and they have like areas, but the entire map is like cell shaded, and it's meant to be kind of like Simpsons. And I know a lot of people are really huge fans.
Oh, I love Simpsons. We love it.
Of Simpsons and Springfield, and this is one of 4 times you've been able to explore Springfield. Once you had Hit and Run, the Simpsons video game, there was a Springfield. I forget what it was, but it's essentially you can just walk around Springfield on your phone and just look at the stuff. I forget what it was called. And then now this. So you can actually interact and everything. So
excited.
I think that's really cool. That is awesome. I need to experience it before it goes away because that's a cool idea. I'm not a huge Simpsons fan, but that's neat.
We've watched it from Bailey and I started it was as a couple. We did all Family Guy. We did half of South Park. But Simpsons we've really enjoyed the most. Like we've really, really, really loved Simpsons. And I've watched a lot of it, but now we've watched every single episode in order. We're I think season 25.
Okay.
So we're at 2016 right now. We're still missing 8 or 9 seasons, but we're getting there. And I'm like, boy, I'm going to miss it whenever, then we'll just have to like, but man, some of the moments, like we watched the Trampoline, like where he like raised a paper and he's like, Trampoline, and like trying to say trampoline. And then he like goes and hits that car and he's like, get out of my way, my trampoline. I don't know. So, it's so good, man. There's so many good moments and, in The Simpsons. So,
a lot of history there, yeah.
A lot, and I say that's the cool thing that they can do a town because it's one of the few shows I'd say like they've really, Springfield feels like a living character.
Hell yeah.
They have a lot of like locations like Moe's Tavern. They even have like King Toots like music store beside it. Trying to think like Springfield Elementary. They've done like a lot.
You got the square,
Evergreen Terrace.
Yeah, you got the comic shop. Yeah,
yeah. Krusty's like studio. I mean, there's just a lot of things.
The school. Yeah, there's so much.
Oh my God, I'm having it's Lad Boy, Large Boys, like
yeah.
And obviously have Krusty Burger. I mean, there's just like a lot of like different Apu store, Quickie Mart.
Quickie Mart, yeah.
See, I'm just trying to.
There's so much.
The church, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
with,
there's a
Reverend
lot
Lovejoy.
of scenes. Yeah,
there's a lot of like little places to like play to stand there. They've done a lot of scenery there, and I just feel like pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty good. But last thing is, if you haven't watched Smiling Friends season 3,
oh yeah, I need to watch it.
You need to watch it. It's amazing. It's so funny. It is so good. It's got so many good memes and just so wild. We got to go home and they did like the episode tonight. They did it where Charlie's going. It's like it almost reminds me of GTA 6 because he like calls out to work to go play like the brand new game. And
let's go.
And they're like, "Are you even sick? Are you just going to be playing that game?" He's like, "No." Mr. Boss calls at one point. He's like, "Charlie, I can see on Steam. Like it literally says what your friends are playing." He's like, "If you don't get your fucking ass back to work, you're fired." And I just was like, man, like I was like, I feel like that's gonna be Tyler. He's told me so many times, like he's literally like, I'm gonna need. Actually, I think even James, but people were like, I'm gonna need off GTA. Honestly, I almost wonder if we should be like, I'm sorry, but for this day, we're closing at 5:00 today.
Yeah, bye.
We had short day. Everybody's going home. GTA 6. Let's go.
We're opening just to sell the copies we have, and then that's it. Get out of here.
That would be even funnier. Like a 1 hour window too, and it's like
it's a midnight launch at 11 a.m.
Yeah, and I'm like, if you didn't get your copies, it's done. Get out of here. We're going. Shut that. I'm like,
I do actually have a couple things. One is Yote. I finished Yote. My first ever platinum. I really enjoyed the game.
Impressive.
I still like Jin as a character more, but I like Yotei the game better. Because I went back to start playing Ghost of Tsushima because Dorian was like, I want to play Yotei because he got done with Tsushima. And I was like, well, let me go back. And it's been fun, but man, it's like Yotei just feels a little better. There's an amazing like boss fight. It's an optional one on Mount Yotei. I won't say who it is or what or anything, but it is awesome. It is very difficult too. Holy cow. And the last thing is, GameStop is having a trade anything day. Literally anything. Not like consoles. You can bring, I got a piece of paper here. Like they have some limits that they said, like lithium ion batteries and I think like pieces of wood or anything hazardous. But they literally like, you can just bring whatever you want for trade credit. And I was like,
how does that work?
I feel so sorry for the workers who are going to work that day. That's insane.
What is it to trade? How do they know what to give? Like it's like
that's what I asked. I tagged them.
Thumbtack, a quarter, a dime. I don't know. Like
they were just literally like, hey, don't bring anything hazardous. No lithium ion batteries, and I think like no massive screens or anything like giant TVs
sounds like
or something like that.
Goodwill moment. Where it's
like, they were like literally just bring whatever, and I was like,
here's my Tupperware. I don't
what
use it
the
anymore.
fuck? Like I made macaroni salad. How much would you give me for that? Can I trade this for GTA 6?
Is that when they're doing it? Like trading anything? When's
oh no,
on?
I'm not sure. But I was like,
I mean, I didn't want to bring this up because
I saw it. I was like, what the hell is this?
You probably saw with Halo, and they had the whole like console wars are over, boys.
Oh yeah, that was a little weird.
And then like the White House even responded back, and then they like, I don't know.
Yeah,
there was some weird.
December 6th, trade anything day.
GameStop, I will commit their social media game lately. Wow. I've actually it's kind of going in the Arby's route.
Yeah. Arby's, which I loved Arby's and Wendy's too at the time.
Man, Arby's has just like been killing for years. Whether it was the anime stuff or like, I remember like when the potato cakes were coming back, they kept doing this like weird like cult, which I love the potato cakes.
Yeah.
It was just like the weird imagery of like the pyramid of the eye and like just weird like stuff they were doing for the potato cakes, and I was like, this is great. This is just
I love stuff like that.
It's like a stupid little like thing, like a whole cult like around the potato cakes.
See, that's good though, because it's like it's fun.
Get you talking.
Yeah, like Wendy's used to roast the shit out of people in other restaurants. Oh my god, I remember they killed that one guy who was like, "Oh, what's this?" It's like frozen. Like it's like, sir, did you not realize like it can be fresh and cold? It's like it was like what the hell.
That's hilarious.
It's so strange, but I mean, I love all that stuff. Having companies having fun is always a good thing.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. I mean. Maybe we just need to get someone on there and just be like Dunk Master and just constantly someone's like,
oh my god,
how can I help you? And they just like dunk on them. They're just like, why don't you go to hell? I'm like, oh, and also it's $29.99.
Well, I do that sometimes. I'll mess with customers. Like when I opened yesterday, there were people already outside the door, and I open it slightly and look at them. They all looked at me. I said, "What do you want?" Like. Or somebody's like, "Hey, can I get this out the case?" Like, I gotta work. What are you doing?
Come on, man! Like, really?
What the hell's going on?
Can I trade this? No. I mean, yes, but no.
Yeah. I don't feel like it. Leave.
You got to have fun, and I'm glad you have that kind of spirit there that everybody knows. Because, like, I'm trying to think. I don't know. There's certain people I could see saying it, and they'd be like, "Really?" You know what I mean? Like, no. And I'm like, no.
No, I always immediately like I wait like a second. I was like, all right, come on in.
Come on.
Gotcha. Let's go.
Well, guys, we appreciate you as always. Ending another great episode.
Let's go.
Going into the holidays. I know maybe it's a little early. I don't give a crap. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody.
Oh, my truck's already done. It's Christmas now.
It's Christmas now.
It's Christmas.
So I'm feeling the spirit. We're expecting our first baby boy.
Let's go. Baby shower is amazing, man. Yeah, absolutely amazing.
Ringsteins, and so we're just so excited.
It was cool. That cookie was good.
Oh, man. It was so good. But, all right, guys. Take it easy. Have a good one.
Thank you.